Was that
And
CDN?
then
That's me. I'm
Rob?
CDN.
How
My
you
name
doing,
is Rob.
Welcome
Hey,
to the
what's
show.
up, buddy?
I'm a jump off,
So
man.
first
I
off,
gotta go
I'll solve
jump
all
off.
your problems. If you want to get away from all of these regulations, you just come to Canada, the wild, wild west, and as free as you can be, baby. Come on down, whatever you want. I'm paying carriers. I pay my I have flatbed carriers. If you go up to Fort McMurray, I got to pay them $185 an hour on the round trip. Do the math.
Yeah, you give that load to Kirk, it's going to be in Wyoming the next day, dude.
So,
Hey, Casas. Hey, Mark, could you drop Casas for me, please?
so first, the thing that all these issues that we're having in the industry around the bad brokers, the bad carriers, the goods, the bad, everything else, it all stems back to, unfortunately, that 21, the vid time when the market got hot. A whole bunch of carriers saw the dangling carrot. The buddy says, man, we're making $4 or $5. You just wake up, click the load board, and the money's rolling. So all these carriers left their lease ops. They left their contracts, bought a truck, became a carrier, and now we got the abundance that we have today. So that's part one. The second part of that, because of all that, I never judge a carrier. Like if you're just a one truck operator, I'm never judging your driving skills. But often what's happened is they jumped into the spot market without the business knowledge. And so when people make a complaint about a broker doing this and doing that, until you've actually been a broker, or if you were a carrier and I've been driving for 10 years, kudos. I appreciate your tenure. But were you ever in operations for that carrier? Were you ever a dispatcher? Did you ever sit in the boardroom and hear some of the tough decisions that management has to make as a carrier? Sit in the boardroom, being on a broker side of the world, what happens? Do you realize that any of you,
I have.
you may
I have.
Right. So you have. So do you realize that if any carrier, any person steps into the world and says, I want to be a freight broker tomorrow, great. I hope you're prepared for the next 3 to 6 months of making no income, because that's how long it's going to take you to move your first load.
95% fail.
So the point is that right now, in my belief, this industry needs the spot market where we say, because I always like to break it down by mode: full truckload, ocean, partial, overdimensional, LTL. LTL, in my mind, is a carrier who has a tariff, a published tariff that's negotiable, but they have a tariff. Every service they perform comes with a related cost. Partial is more like a mom and pop private carrier on the spot market where you got to move 4 skids that likely won't get transferred. Maybe once, but likely won't. They can take other freight, but you're trying to save cost for the customer. And then when it gets, but both, it does not matter the mode. I'm a stickler for details, and I won't tolerate when I hear stories of brokers. Oh, well, they just gave a basic stuff. And if a carrier, so if I'm a broker, yeah, okay, I get it. As a broker agent, you got 20 loads you're trying to move. Great. But it's all fast and boom, boom, boom. Money's going here. And carriers, I'll take this load. I'll take that load and all this. But if you say to them, yeah, I got this load. It's only going to be 10 pallets, 15,000 pounds. It'll be in and out. No problem. Driver gets there. There's a big lineup, gets in there, and they're going to put 25 pallets, and it's going to be 44,000 pounds, 45,000 pounds. Now, if you say that, because if, let's say you said 10 skids, 15,000 pounds, and you're paying $1,000, but the carrier's like, wow, I was really hoping to be 1,350. Man, this is only 15,000 pounds. Come on, man. Give me a hand here. I got 15 more of these loads to book. You'll get one of these. Okay, fine. I'll do it. So he thinks, yeah, it's only 10,000 pounds. It's an easy load. Boom, boom, boom. Gets there. It's double the weight. Double the wait time. There's no wait times. So all of that, to me, it's all about the details in both parts. The broker's responsible to obtain proper information. I would bore you guys with the amount of every email request I get for a quote. I'm replying, what's this? What's that? Whether it's a full truckload or a partial, to understand the full complexities of the load. Because if they're trying to put like a refrigerator, say, oh yeah, we got to move these 2 coolers from some distribution warehouse that's going to Kroger's new grocery store, and they want to be cheap and put it in a van, and it weighs, they're super tall, they weigh a lot of money, they weigh a lot, And have you ever seen how many times coolers fall over in vans? I bet you there's 1,000 carriers that will tell all kinds of stories of equipment they put inside vans that fall over. So that's why we have to understand is, okay, you want to put a cooler in there. Okay, so now you got to make sure you're finding a carrier with E-Track. How many straps do you think we need? How is this going to be loaded? When you get there, it's a job site. Do they have the dock ready? Like, we as brokers are the head of the dragon. And if we don't do our job, then the tail comes around and we're chasing ourselves. Carrier and broker are all chasing, well, this problem happens because the broker didn't do their job and then the carrier didn't ask that question. So if we don't, and that's where the hard part about being a broker, it takes time to mentor people and learn properly. And if you're not willing to study, when people say, oh, I've been in the trucking industry for 40 years, I know what I'm doing, but yet things have changed. Oh, I don't do it that way. Well, the minute you stop learning in this industry, you're dead. And let's take it a step further. Let's take away the word trucking. We're no longer in the trucking industry. We are the supply chain industry. We're one component of a shipper's supply chain that when you look at the complexities of their entire supply chain, we are one cog, one spoke in the cog. So there's 1,000 things I can go on, but point is, we as brokers are responsible to get those weights, get the load details, because if I tell a shipper, carrier, I want exclusive load, yes, the truck is exclusive to me. But if I put on the load confirmation 2 pieces at 1,000 pounds and the driver arrives and it's different, that's my job and all of a sudden it's going to be 15, 20,000 pounds before they start loading. I'm going to have a conversation with my customer.
Can I get booted?
Thank you. Very well said. My point is that, you know, it's an imbalance of power at this point. Are you a broker? I'm assuming you're a broker, you said, right?
Yeah. I'm an agent, not a broker.
Okay,
I'm an agent.
So,
broker agent.
Okay, you're a broker agent.
Freight agent.
Okay,
Freight agent.
like a freight agent. Okay, so you have your own.
Yep.
You have your own book of business.
That's right.
All right, and you're signed on with another broker. Is that right?
Yep. That's right.
Okay, so you have your own book of it. So the training at like the big brokerage, whatever, or even the contract language, and there are a lot of contracts when the carriers will read. There's these clauses in there that'll say, you know, you relinquish your rights for any recourse whatsoever towards a shipper or a receiver. Okay. And there's these clauses in there that we have argued on the regulatory side at the federal level that is not an enforceable part of the contract. Then there's joint several liability. So you can't say to, and 90% of the contracts will have that clause in there. And all of a sudden you're going to, you know, you're not on the BOL, you don't have that clause, you have no recourse whatsoever, regardless of who's at fault, and those are improper contracts, and that's what I've been trying to change. In terms of the pallet counts and weight, I think that every load posting when it's sold should have that information. I've been pushing for that. Now that's not a requirement now, but
nope.
That's on my case, and it's a safety issue. There's a whole slew of reasons.
Well, you're right. And let me ask a quick question to Sage. Sage, can I pull back the curtain without pulling back the curtain?
Yeah. What's that?
Can I pull back the curtain a little bit about our connection without pulling back the connection? So Sage and I are the same freight brokerage. Okay.
Yeah, we both freight brokerage.
Oh, yeah.
So let me tell you this. Our freight brokerage has never, the things that you're experiencing, unfortunately, are probably the big box brokerages trying to do some things. And maybe it's because they have contracts with Procter and Gamble's, like really big shippers. But our brokerage, like I asked Sage, has anyone ever told you, you must do this, you must do that? No. I've been with this broker.
I shut down my brokerage. Like I had an actual brokerage.
I'm the one. I brought Sage over to mine.
And I have never worked for a better brokerage ever. And because we don't do the shit you're saying. We don't do it.
But here's the thing, to your point, sir, what was your name? The first carrier that came in earlier at the beginning of the show?
Who, my name?
Yeah.
Costa.
So Costa, you're 100% right. And the reason I say the devil in the details on the load confirmation matter is because us as a broker agent, so when a load is done, okay, so let's take that scenario. You as a carrier, you get a load confirmation, says full truckload exclusive, 2 pieces, 1,000 pounds. You get there, they throw on 18 pieces, 8,000 pounds, still lightweight or whatever, but it says 8 pieces, 18,000 pounds. The carrier doesn't tell us. We don't see the BOL. They just, they message, we picked up. We had checked next day. Yeah, okay, delivered, great. Everything's good. We know nothing of the weary, right? No one told anything. POD comes in, and if we see that, so some broker agents will hit, as soon as the load's delivered, they hit complete, done. Guess what? I could show you my load board. I'm sitting with 80 loads that are not invoiced. Why? Because I'm analyzing every single one of them and challenging this and doing, like, there's several steps I'm dealing with. So the point is that we as us as agent, if I complete a load in our TMS system where it says 2 pieces, 1,000 pounds, and the POD that our head office receives says 18 pieces at whatever weight, they're not going to process to pay the carrier or invoice the shipper. The first thing they're going to do is they're going to email the agent saying, we see a discrepancy. So which is right? Okay. And they ask, they won't fix it until it's.
Let me clarify real quick. Sorry, Isaiah. Okay, Bill, you're a brokerage. Just by the way, your vernacular, you're probably Canadian. So the whole, I'm not talking about myself as a carrier. I'm talking about thousands and thousands of case studies and audits that we have done. Yep. That this is a prevalent, big problem in the industry. You as a broker, what you're doing is exactly right. You're essentially going, crossing your eyes, or cross your T's, dotting your I's, making sure that all that information is correct. The problem is what you stated before, the influx of the rise of the freight broker and the carrier and the capacity issue is a big issue, because you have, when there's to summarize this whole thing, the lack of enforcement of the regulations is my problem. Okay. And it's not just me.
100%.
It is the thousands of audits that we have pulled where, now listen, you don't hear about it because 99% of the time the freight gets moved A to B and there's no issue. It's the 1% of the time that when the problems arise, and then we study the behavior of why this happened, why is it continuously happening, and what's the resolution of this? And a lot of it is, it's coercion, to be honest with you. It's
well, look at the
weaponization of ignorance. So
the FMCSA is designed against the brokers and the carriers. There's no shipper accountability. How many stories have you heard of a situation where a driver goes in and says, "Hey, sign my BOL, my time in and out," and the consignee says, "No, we don't do that."
Yeah, they don't. It's a liability issue on their part, so
right.
They're not going to do it.
I gotta look up. How's it coercion?
So you're talking about coercion. Weaponization of ignorance is different, but then look, if you want to get the legal kind of basis that I'm talking about, go to the contract of adhesion, right? That's what I'm talking about. The contract of adhesion. So a coercion, for example, the cases that we see, you pick up a load on Friday in Chicago and it's due Monday 8 a.m. in Detroit. Okay, say 5-hour trip, 5.5-hour trip. It's Friday. You pick up the load. Broker's blowing your phone up. Hey, why aren't you moving? Where are you? Where are you going? They are dictating your movement patterns, your sleep patterns, so on and so forth. You don't have to leave right away. Okay, you assure them that the product and the freight is safe. It's in this location. You're in possession of it. You have title of it. So that whole coercion is like, and then we've heard conversations between brokers, whether it's a dispatching, it's a whole nother issue, but all that stuff is like, it's literally, they're telling them stuff that isn't even true.